Well, it's the third phase of polling today across 93 constituencies in 10 states and 1 union territory. Over 1,300 candidates have been in fray. This is one of the most crucial phases since most of these seats have been BJP's bastion traditionally, and it will be an uphill task for the united opposition. In fact, a short while back, PM Modi also cast his vote in Gandhinagar, post which you had him giving that soundbite. Meanwhile, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra are also going to polls today. Prominent names like Jyotiraditya Scindia, who is seeking a re-election from Guna for the first time as a BJP leader. Other key names today are Amit Shah, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, Supriya Sule, and many others as well. So, yep, it's begun already.
And you can see that markets, indirectly are actually getting into what really could be called as the suspense mode. While there was nothing wrong with the market setup yesterday, there was nothing wrong with the global setup yesterday. But let's look at the intraday graph, just the intraday graph. And for me, that really tells you the entire story. And if you superimpose the intraday graph yesterday for the Nifty and look at India VIX, that is how markets are moving. The markets are turning volatile. India VIX is spiking, and we've seen what could be called almost as a 40% spike in the VIX in last couple of days. So the bottom line here is that markets are now perhaps, even though from a market standpoint, election is a no event, but looking at the way how FIs are selling and how India VIX has gone up, and looking at the market move right now, it appears that markets now are getting into what really could be called as the pre-election mode.
Oh, yes, indeed. That is what is on the mind of the markets right now, the pre-election. And in light of that as well, we had a detailed interview with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, displaying a lot of confidence about the party winning more than 400 seats, as well as what the overall agenda is going to be for the next government. Let's listen in.
तीसरा टर्म के लिए मैं बड़े निर्णय चाहता हूं, महत्वपूर्ण निर्णय करना चाहता हूं। कोई तोड़फोड़ करने के निर्णय मेरे नहीं होता ही जी। 100 दिन का मेरा प्लान बिल्कुल रेडी है, और मैं 4 तारीख के बाद एक दिन भी समय खराब करना नहीं चाहता हूं। मुझे इतनी अनुकूलता है कि मैं मेरे देश को एक रत्ती पर नुकसान होने देना नहीं चाहता। मैंने विलंब के कारण जो नुकसान हो वो भी नहीं होने देना चाहता हूं मैं। हमने चुनौतियों को चुनौती देकर के अवसर में परिवर्तित किया है, लेकिन आवश्यकता ये है कि चीजों को हकीकतों के आधार पर देखा जाना चाहिए। एक्यूरेट सोर्स से जो डेटा मिलता है, पीएलएफएस का डेटा, उससे तो विश्वसनीय मानोगे आप। पीएलएफएस के डेटा को तो विश्वसनीय मानोगे। बेरोजगारी दर पिछले 6 साल में सबसे निचले स्तर पर है। उसी प्रकार से ग्रामीण बेरोजगारी, यानी हर जगह पे आया कि ग्रामीण इकोनॉमी बढ़ी है, ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में बेरोजगारी घटी है, ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में एक्टिविटी बढ़ी है, इकोनॉमी का सेंटर बनते जा रहे ग्रामीण।
Okay, we will be playing excerpts from that exclusive interview all through the day today. But let's talk markets, because, it's been getting hugely volatile for us. More concerning has not just been the India VIX and the kind of spike up it's been saying on a daily basis, but also the fact that the FI selling continues. And yesterday too, it was a print over 2,000 crores.
See, Aisha, it's fair to say that markets are approaching a patch of consolidation. And when markets are typically approaching a patch of consolidation, what you may actually see is that you will see a limited move on both the sides. So directionally, you want to say that the path of least resistance for the market in the run-up to the election is still higher. But the momentum is not that aggressive that you can make a case that markets are likely to go up in a very linear kind of a manner. Now, there are 3 factors which have changed. They have not changed, but they in a sense need to be acknowledged. Number 1 is the spike in VIX. It's a big spike in VIX. Number 2 is FI selling. And just when it appeared middle of last week that FIs were back, I think the selling has only intensified. Friday's data and yesterday's data. And this is cash market selling. I'm not even talking about FI in the FNO market. So cash and FNO combined, that's a very fat number, which means that decisively there seems to be an FI selling in some of the FI dominated stocks at higher levels. And third is the sheer way in which markets are moving. I mean, look at Friday, the crack from the day's low. Monday, the crack from the day's high, then the recovery from the day's low, and then recovery, then the fall again from the day's high. So you are now witnessing what could be called as spikes, and you are witnessing what could be called as swing. And I think that really would be the dominant feature in my book now for next couple of days. Spikes and swings. Spikes and swings, I think, are back. You may directionally not see too much in terms of a collateral damage or an upswing if FI selling does not stabilize. But spike and swings in terms of judging the market, I think, would be there. And that is the reason why VIX is spiking. Look at the selling in PSU stocks, how exaggerated it was. And complete misinterpretation of what RBI circular impact could be. Entire thing sold off. Not just PFC, RLC, everything sold off. So that is the temperament of the market right now, where you are reacting and overreacting to news, and spike and swings are back. Linear move is behind us. Directionally, markets want to go higher, but the momentum, I guess, in the near term is just not that strong that bulls will be able to extend gains.
Yeah, I just want to revisit some of those PSU stocks like PFC, REC, Nikunj, that you just flagged off, and that largely coming in after the news of the RBI draft guidelines on project financing, and a lot of those buckled under pressure yesterday. But that aside, let's focus in as to what investors should be doing at a time like this, given that, yes, we are seeing FII selling right now. It's a patch of consolidation. The election continues to remain on the minds of the market. So how should one be looking at maybe some of these PSU stocks at the market at large, Nikunj?
So you want to be a buyer in some of the PSU stocks. The reason why you want to be a buyer in PSU stocks is because, frankly, for me, what really matters that in the near term is the economy doing well. See, when will PSUs do well? PSUs they have a right to win when economy does well. And PSU dominated sectors, which is power, which is infra, which is real estate indirectly, metals, these sectors are doing well. And irrespective of what everybody may talk about, okay, the recent run up or too much of HNI concentration in some of these stocks, I think they are still available, not at throwaway, not at very stretched levels. So the underlying bent of the economy and the way how valuations are stacked up, you want to be a buyer in PSUs. For me, a sector which stands out within the PSU top ranking, I think it is power. Then you would say it is railways. Third, you would say directly, indirectly, energy plays, and then I would say PSU banks. Now, within that, when you get a bad Monday like we saw yesterday, or a bad Friday like we got last Friday, you want to be a buyer in some of the PSU stocks, because if the economy is doing well, PSU stocks will do well. They are in some kind of leadership, and I completely disagree with whatever everyone is saying that, okay, these are stocks which will not give you linear moves. These are stocks which, in a sense, have run up too much. But I think the positioning of PSU, the nature of PSU, the business of PSU, the talent pool of PSU, everything has changed. And on bad days, on a bad patch, you want to be a buyer here.
And I guess, other than PSUs, one wonders in these kind of volatile times as to what should be the strategy, because there is data, like we were discussing before the show, to prove that FI money is moving back to China.
And that is like the new ingredient in the melting pot, if you frankly ask me, that India is currently underperforming China. And a very basic way of looking at it is how much Nifty has moved, YTD, and where Hong Kong has moved. Our viewers would recall that Hong Kong has been a very underperforming market. Money gravitated out of the Chinese stock markets directly and indirectly for a variety of factors. But for the moment, if one looks at the data seems to be indicating that flows are moving back into China and they are moving out of India. I think this could be periodic. This could be positioning in terms of emerging market. China has been a massive underperformer. So maybe there's a catch-up play which is there. On valuation matrix, a lot of global allocators may be of the view that China is looking cheap. But I continue to maintain that when it comes to a premium pricing with visibility and with near-term outlook, you will always find India enjoying that traditional positioning. Our favorite example in the channel has been that Nariman Point will always trade at a premium. And I think that is India for you. It will always trade at a premium. So you can make a case if you're an asset allocator, okay, China is cheap, India is expensive. But guys, look at growth, look at comfort.
Oh, we could be BKC, right?
Yeah.
Who
but-
says there can't be another number one?
Yeah, but for the number one to happen, you need to have a lot of other factors which need to kick in. I don't see those factors coming in for China.
Okay.